It is a public health issue. Right? A lot of us like to think it's just in our homes, right? But trauma is all around us, and each and every one of us will react differently to these things.
Trauma is defined as an emotional response to a terrible event like an accident, sexual assault, gun violence, losing a loved one to sickness or natural disaster. And while for the most part as adults we learn coping mechanisms, it can have a spiraling effect on minors, triggering behavioral issues. In Belize, children, just by way of where they live, are oftentimes exposed to traumatic experiences, and it takes an individual and even a village to address it. Today, professionals from different walks of life learned about practical techniques, building positive relationships, and reducing stress and anxiety levels.
A lot of the kids really are experiencing a lot of trauma because of gang violence and intimate or gender-based violence in the home, parental incarcerations, and things like that that could disrupt their development.
The workshop was organized by Belize. It is a private practice dedicated to ensuring professional development and offers a safe space for people who need help in psychotherapy and counseling. As a licensed clinical social worker and educator, Azalia Lariou feels that child traumatic stress has a lot to do with the community.
It is anything that overwhelms your capacity to cope. So if you can't wake up in the morning and feel like to brush your teeth, get up and put your makeup on and go to work, you probably were affected somehow by something that's happening to you. All right, and that could be, as you said, very different for everyone. So it could be just that loud noise, that shouting that's happening. We see it a lot in children. So we see aggressive behaviors in children, all right? We see things like they don't want to listen, but it may be that it's not that they don't want to listen, but it's that they cannot concentrate because of all the things that are happening.
Addressing the issue is about understanding that a behavioral issue may very well be a defense mechanism developed by a child, and there is need to regulate that child's emotions.
It disrupts our emotional regulation system. And so you probably get someone who's unable to control their behaviors and they act out violently or aggressively simply because they're constantly thinking they're in a state of fear, right? And so trauma creates this feeling that you're always needing to protect yourself, protect your environment, and so you're fearful to trust people. And so you're always in this defense mechanism.
We're looking at mental wellness as well. For example, clinical social workers look at a biopsychosocial aspect. So it's not about, I'm going to diagnose you on, okay, you have ADHD. It's nothing wrong with you. Something happened, and we're going to work it out.
The significance of trauma experiences and how early childhood development really shapes our life outcomes. And really and truly, it's important to understand just how we need to nurture children growing up, because the trauma that they experience in childhood really determines whether or not they're able to function and cope with everyday life stressors.
Duane Moody for News 5.